Congressman Khanna with us now. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me back on.
Of course. And so you represent part of the Bay Area, right, of California. Okay, so you're safe. Your constituents would have a big problem if you did not vote for impeachment.
They would. I got a loud applause when I came out for impeachment at the town hall.
Sure, it's not a tough sell for you, for sure.
Not.
There are more than 24 of your Democratic colleagues who won in districts that President Trump won in the last cycle. I wonder what you say to them as, it seems like at least a few of them are going to vote against the articles of impeachment. And there must be others who are incredibly worried about what this means and if they are properly representing their constituents.
Well, many of them actually have spoken out in caucus meetings, and they have said that they feel comfortable supporting impeachment, most of them, because it has to do with our national security. The president shouldn't be compromising our national security for personal gain. And they feel comfortable because it has to do with standing up for the rule of law and the Constitution. And so that is how I think most feel. Now, there may be a few defections, but I believe this vote is going to be overwhelming.
What do you say, though, to those few who it appears may not stand with the rest of the caucus?
I say put ideology aside. Do you want to set a precedent that the president of the United States can ask foreign leaders to investigate American citizens and then also political rivals? I mean, why would you want to condone that, whether it's a Republican or a Democrat? Don't you want a system where we have checks on executive power? Look at other countries. Sometimes you have far left people in other countries running roughshod over the rule of law, and that doesn't help create stable, prosperous societies. So that's what I'd say.
Should they be willing to stake their job, their career, the possibility that maybe they're not representing uniformly their constituents on that decision? Would you say to them, yeah, this may be a tough decision, you may pay for this personally, but you should?
Well, I would say you should vote your conscience. I mean, it's not for me to go tell other members how they should vote on something this big. But I would say this is something we're all going to be judged for in history. Vote your conscience. Vote to uphold the Constitution. And if you have that conviction, I don't think this is going to be the determinant issue in 2020.
So if the House impeaches, which it appears that is where this is headed, then it goes on to the Senate, right? And we're expected to see a trial there. And the majority leader of the Senate, Mitch McConnell, said this on Fox News last night.
The president's counsel may or may not decide they want to have witnesses. The case is so darn weak coming over from the House. We all know how it's going to end. There's no chance the president's going to be removed from office.
And he is in consultation with White House lawyers. What's your reaction to all of that?
Man, it's outrageous. I mean, the Constitution gives the Senate the independent authority to exercise checks on the presidency. These are supposed to be statesmen. Our founders said they have a 6-year term because they would be independent. And for McConnell to be basically saying that the president is going to set the terms of the trial, that the president is going to get to decide the timetable and who is called, our founders would be rolling over in their graves if they heard that.
I want to ask you about Rudy Giuliani, the president's pro bono lawyer, who was just in Ukraine. And according to the Wall Street Journal, his first call back before he was even off the plane was to President Trump. And he was just at the White House this morning. All of this happening at the White House, it was pretty stunning as we see the committee voting to send articles of impeachment for this huge scandal that Rudy Giuliani is such a central part of. What do you make of all of this, that he's back there at the White House talking to the president?
This is the consequence of the Republican Party not doing anything to hold the president accountable. I mean, think of it. Why would anyone be fielding phone calls with Rudy Giuliani at this point? Why would you be meeting with Rudy Giuliani? It's because this president feels totally above the law because he's lockstep with the Republican Party, and Mitch McConnell isn't even willing to have a fair trial. And the question for the country is, what is the check on this president?